So welcome everyone. Happy Thursday. So glad the rain stopped for a while. Got some sunshine. So Freddie, would you like to lead us in the pledge or a rousing version of what did Jeff Adderkirk say that song, Fever?
Really tempting, but the pledge, I'm more familiar with the pledge, so let's do that.
And he's got the flag, so.
Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America,
and to the
republic
for which it stands, one nation,
under
God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Play ball.
All
I
right.
haven't figured out yet how we all talk at the same time on Zoom and it works, but thank you, Freddie. I don't see that we have any guests other than Dean Sawyer. So do we? And Dean is our program. But, so with that, does anyone have a Rotary moment or anything that they would like to share that would be a Rotary moment? No, I don't see any volunteers. So with that, I just wanted to say that, at the beginning of this in March, we went to Zoom meetings, and if you're like me, I fully expected to be out of this by April 30th and life would go on and continue normally. Here we are in the middle of June, and not only do we still have the pandemic going on, but we have the whole unrest with the police and all of that. I don't think I need to remind you of what's going on. But with that, when I think of Rotary, what I appreciate the most about it is that we are all different. And we're men, women, young, old, gay, straight, Christian, atheist. What else are we? We're all those things, but yet every Thursday we come together in a common thing and we work to do good. And we don't always get along, but we talk and we come out better. And that's the thing that I appreciate the most with our group, and I hope that we can continue that throughout the world. So that is my moment. Anyone else have anything they would like to add or to share as a Rotary moment?
I have one if I could. I heard from a city employee who lives here in town, and one of their neighbors is one of the COVID patients from the seafood plant. And everybody in the neighborhood knows them. They've been there for a long time. But the neighbors are taking food, cleaning supplies, diapers, and putting them on their porch. And I just think that's a Rotary moment for our whole community.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Okay, so hearing nothing else, I'm going to go to Doretta and John, update on the banquet.
Well, I guess I can start here. I went to Best Western yesterday, spent an hour there trying to set up the technology, and we're gonna make it work. And it's kind of a test if we ever want to do a hybrid where we start meeting, a group of us will start meeting there, and then we can continue to Zoom. So we'll have a 2-camera system, and the cameras will be on the podium and on the tables with the board members. And we're going to start at 5:30 and probably go to 7. And we'll hand the gavel from Julie to Freddie that night. So we're pretty excited about it.
Yeah, they're excited to get rid of me. But I forgot what I was going to say. I don't think it will take 2 hours because it goes quicker on Zoom. And then so if we're at the podium, will we still be able to see the people on the screen?
Yep. So you'll be able to, the podium will be right to the right of the screen. So you'll be able to see everybody on Zoom, just like you're seeing now. So it's going to be just like a normal Zoom meeting, except there's going to be a group of us in one room.
Okay. And so I need all the board members, and Bob, you are on the board, you just forget sometimes, but to email in whether you will be Zoom at home or whether you were coming to the Best Western. Because we need to be able to know how many people so they can socially distance us. So if you can shoot an email to like either myself or Doretta or both of us saying how you will attend that night if you're on the board. So
What's the date, Julie? 5:30 on June
25th.
25th.
And it replaces the Thursday noon meeting. So, okay. And then Noemi, is Noemi on today?
I don't see her.
Yeah, because I believe we've asked her to attend if she, is comfortable with that. So
Oh, she's on.
That's all I have about the banquet. Thank you, John. And then Sonia, you wanted to give us an update on your fundraiser?
Okay, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, all right, good. Yeah, so, well, first of all, I'm doing great. So, thank you for all of those who showing support. We are, what I was trying to say last time I was on here, I'm doing a fundraiser to raise money for Can Cancer, which is provides non-medical expenses for cancer patients, things like gas cards. They've even purchased a refrigerator for a cancer patient whose refrigerator died, and things like that. We've raised $1,755, including Bob Wienert's $100 that he donated at the Rotary last time I talked about this. And if we get to $5,000 by Saturday, June 20th, my executive director, Becky Donaldson, will be shaving her head live on Facebook, just like Jim did on Sunday. And if we can get to $10,000 also on Saturday, June 20th, I have two other managers who will also shave their heads, our executive director, our culinary director and our lifestyle director, but they will also be shaving their heads for one for $7,500, one for $10,000 by July 30th, July 31st. But if we can do it by June 20th, then we're having a drive-by parade. We'll follow it up with a head shaving. So if anyone's interested, you can contact me, and I can let you know how to donate to that.
Okay, thank you. I'm glad you're doing okay. And I don't think Jim looks bad with the shaved head.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah. So, okay, Bob, you got any happy facts? John, can you unmute him?
I'm trying.
Lower left corner, Bob.
Yeah, it won't let me.
Hey, Bob, you're gonna have
There
to
you
do
go.
it. There you go.
Oh,
Whoops.
yeah.
Oh.
Now can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, nice to see everyone. Mayor Sawyer, you included, and gosh, everybody looks great for being hidden out in little rooms for so long. Have we got any birthdays? Well, no birthdays. Have we got happy dollars?
Okay.
John Zegel's got to be happy. Come on, John.
Oh, I'm thrilled. So, yeah, I'm $50 happy to be the new executive director of the Lincoln County Foundation.
Well, thank you very much. That was nice.
Yep.
And maybe Dustin should donate a little too for turning around and doing computer work last week when we were having our meeting. What do you think, Dustin?
I'll do $25 to John's Paul Harris.
Oh, thank
Boy,
you.
golly, that's real
Thanks.
good for you. Is there anybody else out there in Happy Land?
Bob, I'm pretty happy today. I am $20 happy. We launched our food pantry yesterday, and so far we have served over 80 people.
Wow. In one day, in a day and a half, 80 people?
80 people. We had people lined up at our front door this morning. And it was
Wow.
wonderful.
Good. Tell us again where that's at. Is that at your 4th Street building or?
Yeah, 140 Northeast 4th Street, right on the corner of Avery and 4th, behind Arctic Circle.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I'm $20 happy.
That makes us a lot happier too. Thank you very much.
I'm happy, Bob.
Oh, what's Jim Wendell happy about? Oh, you don't have to see me the 11th.
That's right. That was part of it. I'm $50 happy to the help program at the high school. This last weekend, Abby and Aaron Eastep threw a sprinkle for Libby, and Miranda was in town, so I had 3 of my daughters. A sprinkle is a baby shower for somebody that's already had a baby.
Oh.
He's going to have another one. And then Libby, when she was in the 5th grade, painted a dental world in crayons that I've had in my office. And it's always been special here, but it's going to go to Aaron Eastep, who has a pediatric office in Eugene. So the children will be able to see that, and that'll be nice.
Wow, boy, you are a happy guy.
Fun for crying out loud.
Well, Sonia, I am so happy. I'm going to donate another $100. You just look great. You look absolutely great. And if tell Jim to put that on my Rotary bill.
You know, I'll donate. I'll be $20 happy because John Zagel is the executive director, and being that president of that for the last, how many years has it been, Keith? Because I couldn't find anyone else to take my place. I am so happy that he is the director, and that'll go to our general fund.
Great, thank you.
I'm going to be $50 happy too. Match John's 50, but I'm going to put it towards John's Paul Harris, because I got to tell you, we've been after this for, I've only been involved for a year, but we just couldn't be happier with having John take the helm.
Thank you, Keith.
Let's see what we can do with Peggy and Jim. They just showed up. You two must be happy to be here.
There you go.
We're always happy.
Just how happy are you?
Challenged with our dog here momentarily, which happens every time we sit here and try to do this. Lenny thinks he should be a part of the show.
He wants to be a Rotarian, really bad.
Well, we would want him as a Rotarian, but now we got to know how happy you are.
But we're happy enough to probably put in at least $25 every day. Yeah.
Well, we appreciate that. Yep. We're glad. Amy, you started to put your hand up.
I did. I am $50 happy, and I would like it to go to the Salvation Army Food Pantry because I am fortunate enough to have my garden thriving right now, and every night this week we've eaten something from that. It's been part of our dinner. So
thanks, Amy. That's awesome.
Good for you. Anybody else? Well, thanks for your generosity, and hope to see you all next week.
Okay, Bob, I thought I was raising my hand, but maybe I didn't do it right. This is Catherine, and I'd like to donate $25 to the Salvation Army Food Initiative.
All right. Thanks, Catherine. That's awesome.
You're welcome.
I also have some happy bucks.
That's right.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Oh,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, as of next week, I'll have managed to stay married for 4 years. So very happy about that. I'll do $50 on that one.
Boy, am I happy about it too. Anybody else?
How happy are you, Bob?
Happy.
All right. Well, that's enough of that then. All right. Julie, take over.
I want to be happy. Okay, this is Jim. I want to be $20 happy because we're smack in the middle of the 2020 U.S. Census,
And nationwide, we're at about 64, 65% response rate. We're a little bit lower than that in Lincoln County. So let's buckle down and get some responses out there. If you know anyone who may not have gotten the update that the census is now live, please let them know, my2020census.gov, or their phone numbers in English. It's 844-330-2020, or Spanish, it's 844-468-2020. $20 happy.
Okay. So Freddie, did you try to message me about a banquet update or not?
I think I responded to an email.
Oh, okay.
I was just mentioning that we had a board of realtor meeting there at Best Western this morning, and it really worked out well. So.
And you did it on Zoom, like how we're going to do it, or?
Yeah, pretty much exactly the same. We just did it from the bigger conference room, but it worked really well.
Okay.
And also, since everyone else was happy, I'll be $50 to the Salvation Army Food Pantry too. Happy that Nathan and Corinne are members now with us.
All right, Freddie. Thank you. Hey, it's a good day. I'm really happy now.
Okay, so for our program, we have Mayor Dean Sawyer today. You know, you didn't send me a bio, so I'm just going to have to go on my memory to talk about you. He was my neighbor.
Careful, you know all the bad stuff.
He was my neighbor for like 25 years and didn't like it when my dog pooped in his yard. You were in law enforcement, retired from the city of Newport or from the, I can't remember.
Newport.
From city of Newport. Yeah. So you retired from there as you were in charge of them, right?
Yes.
So welcome. I'll let you say anything else about yourself that you want.
Okay, there's not much to say. I would like to thank Julie for giving me this opportunity for today. I'd also like to thank Ken Bishop and John Zagel for doing all the coordinating work in the back room. I'd like to say this is a very trying time for us all, for the city and all of you and the businesses that you're associated with. I am very impressed by the long-term donations to our community that you are again stepping up to give. This is what makes the wonderful fabric of our community that I have so enjoyed for the last 43 years. For those of you who don't know me, and Julie kind of threw out a little bit of there, I was working as a deputy sheriff in Los Angeles County, and I decided that I didn't like the LA lifestyle back in the 70s, and I decided to find greener pastures, so I applied to various departments up here, and I accepted an offer for a Newport police officer in 1977, knowing virtually nothing about Newport. I came here intending to only stay 1 year and then move on, but I could not leave this wonderful place, and I'm still here 43 years later. I worked for the police department here for 30 years and had supervision and command positions for the majority of that time. After my retirement, I worked for the Siletz tribe as their emergency manager and worked the H1N1 pandemic with public health in the Siletz clinic. 10 years ago, I decided to run for city council and have served ever since. And a year and a half ago, the voters of this town decided to vote me as mayor, and I'm very humbled and honored to have that position. I would like to talk about the good things happening in our community if I can, because I know that this COVID issue is huge. As of this morning, we have 163 cases, and there's 6 work sites in town have been affected to date. And that's really kind of sad for me, because I know that it's very difficult if your work site is impacted. Just before the COVID issue hit, building permits were at a high here in town, and I know that Dustin is well aware of that, and so is Dietmar, that we were very, very strong on building permits. And our employment was at a low rate of 4.6%, and now it's 24%. So the difference is very radical. For Freddie's information, the median home price here in 2013 was $185,000, and now it's $285,000. And I know that Freddie will take credit for that. Is that not correct, sir?
Sounds about right, Dean.
So, but and we know that you were the one that made that happen. So right now, Freddie will tell you also. Right now, we have a very low inventory of homes on the market, which also drives those prices up, and that's good and bad depending on if you're selling or buying, of course. Our commercial fleet here, the fishing fleet, landed $58 million worth of fish last year, and that's significant. You know, when you think about that, you think about the small boats and the big boats. We are the largest commercial fish processing town on the Oregon and Washington coast. That also is pretty significant. Then COVID hit us hard, and we also entertain 2.5 million tourists a year here, and that's significant to our community base as well. And with the COVID hitting, it just kind of hurt just everyone in town. It doesn't matter what kind of business you have. It affects us all. As you know, as most of you know, the city's room tax dollar, the city relies on room tax dollars, and it has tanked since mid-March. Our budget for the upcoming year is projected to be $2.4 million short, and most of that is because of the room tax dollars. I know most of you know, you've been involved with city government and the budget, and you know that a significant portion of our budget is that room tax money, and that is used for salary for city employees. So when we have that money come in, unfortunately, we don't have those employees to provide services. So far we've laid off all of our part-time employees, and that's really kind of sad for me because most of those part-time employees are rec center employees and library employees, which are very important to our community. We project that we can only bring back half of those part-time employees, so some of those position losses will impact those services at the rec and the library. We also have 22 full-time positions in the city, which have been on hold for some time, and those will not be filled in the next following year. And sadly for me, and I know Mark, you're well aware of this as well, that there are 3 patrol positions that will not be filled in the next year, and also the school resource position will be eliminated for the next year, and also parking enforcement. And I know that the parking enforcement is kind of unfortunate on Nye Beach and the Bayfront, because there will not be citations written this summer, which is sad too. City Hall is currently closed, and after it will reopen, and we're not sure the exact date yet. That'll be the next couple of weeks. We will be closed on Fridays just because we're going to have staff shortages. We furloughed all the non-representative positions in the city, and they will also have to take 12 unpaid days before the first of the year. This is a big hit for our city, and we know that you all are taking a similar hit in your businesses. It will be a long, hard summer. Some of the projects that are in process or nearing completion in the city, which is kind of exciting, is Samaritan is in the final phase of their new hospital, and they are finishing the final parking lot as we speak. We recently finished the seismic upgrades for our main fire hall. The low-income 110 apartment units in Agate Beach is just about ready to start renting. Pretty excited about that because that's going to really help our lower-income folks in town, because that's a huge need for our community, of course. The new market rates apartments named Windhaven. I don't know if Windhaven Ridge. I don't know if you've heard of them. It's up on 36th Street behind Pacific Homes Mobile Beach Club. And they're going to have 3 phases back there. Their first phase is going to be 66 market rate units, and they're doing the groundwork for that right now. They haven't got their final permit yet, but it's very close to happening. The duplex that Habitat for Humanity has been working on behind City Hall is just about very soon to get their final occupancy permit. I know that we were pretty excited on council when we were able to give them that land, because Habitat's a great company or a great group, and we really were pleased to do that. The new OSU Marine Studies Initiative building is wrapping up its final issues, and it's going to be open fairly soon, except that obviously with the COVID, it's going to be probably not fully open yet. The new seafood wharf by the Sea Lion docks is underway. If you've been down there to see the construction down there, Ripley's, believe it or not, is ready to go, and I know David Heater is chopping at the bit to open. Unfortunately, that won't open till phase 2, which we were hoping to be in phase 2 right now, obviously, but because of COVID, we can't, and we're not exactly sure how long we're going to be in phase 1 currently. But I know that Dave is ready to go, and he gave me a tour just pretty much about a month ago, and I went in there, and it's fabulous. So I'm excited for him and his company. Another big thing in town is Fred Meyer. If you've seen, they're constructing their new fuel station up there by Burger King. I personally am very excited because I think it's going to drop the price of gas in town. And those folks that are in our community that work in the service industry, that will help them out because a lot of them drive to Newport from Walport, Siletz, and other areas to get here. And when fuel was here at $4 a gallon a couple of years ago, I think it really impacted those people that only make about 10, 12 bucks an hour. We're in a difficult time right now with a sad outbreak of the seafood plant and a terrible impact on our friends and neighbors that have been infested. We have a great community, and we all need to come together to support everyone. And that is, again, is why I love Newport, and I'm honored to be your mayor. I just wanted to share with you a couple of other things. Do I have some extra time here, Julie?
Yeah, you have lots of time, actually more than normal, because these Zoom go pretty fast. We can't do a lot of the stuff we normally do, so.
Yeah, and I do know that Keith wanted some time to throw some tomatoes, so hopefully we'll have time for that.
Well, I'm sure people have lots of questions of you, so we just want to make sure we have time for questions.
Okay, this is a chart that the city came up with, and I know you can't see it, but if you want, if you email me at the city, d.sawyer@newportoregon.gov, I'll be glad to share it with you. This is the reopening plan for all the city complexes, and it's broken down by phase 1, 2, and 3. And I know that Dietmar's been involved in these discussions to make this process happen. But part of the problem is some of these are obviously based phase-wise by the governor, and we can't open the rec center till phase 2. But even if we do, when we do open, we do have some issues, as some of you with your current businesses, you've had to redesign them and put up barriers and so forth. And we've had to do that with the rec center. If you know the rec center, it's very problematic because there's just locations all over that place that are totally different, and to make it safer for the customers when they come back. So we probably what we're going to be doing is we'll be doing like phase 2A, 2B, and C. So phase 2A, we will open up a certain section. B will be a second, and then the same in C. So it's not going to be open up right away just because we've got some issues to do. But I think that the city and the council and Dietmar, we've all worked really hard on trying to get this document so that we can make sure that everything's safe. Let's see. Oh, just for real quick, I want to talk about a couple items that have been on the plate for a while that's happening. They're significant planning projects. One is the Pacific Marine Energy Center, which is going to be off the coast here that OSU has been working on. And that's really kind of a big thing because that wave energy hopefully will be a big boon to us in the future. The Northside Transportation System Plan, which is something when I was running for office a year and a half ago, I was really pushing because I think our downtown core really needs an upgrade, and we need to. We have this transportation system plan, and we have people that are on it, local citizens, to get their input as well. But we really need to take some time and effort and thought on what we're going to do and how we do it, because this is a project that will last for decades, and we want to make sure that it's kind of like when we were doing the Vision 2040 project. We put a lot of time and a lot of community involvement into that because it's a big project too. But we want to make sure that when we get the downtown corridor re-envisioned, and that it's something that we all want and that we can project to the public and be a viable economic area for us. Let's see. In South Beach, urban renewal area is pretty much finished. Unfortunately, we're waiting for ODOT to finish the light down there on the intersection, and then that will finish off the South Beach area, which we've been working on for quite some time. Unfortunately, ODOT is kind of dragging their heels, but that's pretty typical. We're used to that with ODOT. And then anyway, so that's really all I really have for you today. Oh, Saturday, Lincoln County Emergency Management was able to get $31,000 N95 masks, and they are expired, so they cannot be used in a medical facility like a hospital or a doctor's office. So they were donated to various it came from the state and to the individual counties. And Saturday morning, our local community emergency response team will be handing these out. People can come drive up. It'll be a drive-through event. They drive up. We give them how many ever masks they want. Depending on the family, it might be 4 to 10, whatever. And then they go off, and the next person comes. And if you want to get these masks, there's 2 locations. One will be at the middle school, and one will be at the aquarium in South Beach. And personally, I'd avoid the one in South Beach because I hear the mayor is going to be either giving out these masks. Of course, you don't want to be around him. So, but anyway, I think that's kind of all I have for you all today. Is there any questions that I don't think I can answer them? I'm sure Dietmar can, because he's more up on all this stuff than I am.
I have a question on the funding and budgeting. So is the city able to get any money from the CARES Act funding? I don't know if there was specific language in there for municipalities. So
yeah, we have, and we also have a statewide lobby group. It's called the League of Oregon Cities, which the city has been participating in for years, and the county has an arm that's called the Associated Oregon Counties. And we have been working with both groups to try to get more funding through the federal government. We have been told that there's been some money allocated to the state. The state gets obviously the biggest chunk, and then the rest of it will go to the small communities. The problem that we're working on right now is it's all done per capita. So Newport will get the same amount of money pretty much as Hermiston. And our spiel to the state is we've been more impacted than Hermiston has. Our unemployment, as you all know, is highest in the state. And so what we're saying is just because we're a town of 10,000, a town of 10,000 on the east side should not get equal funding. We should be getting more. So we're still working on that. We haven't got the final. There will be some. It's not a huge amount. But it will be some help.
Dean, when you say that there are 5 work sites affected by COVID, I'm sorry, when you say there's 6, are 5 of them the Pacific Seafood separate work sites, or are there 5 above and beyond Pacific Seafood?
Well, these are beyond Pacific Seafood. The Oregon Health Authority rules is that they cannot, they will not release the name of a business unless there are 5 known cases at that business. And that's why they announced Pacific Seafood. I can tell you if they only had 4 people affected at Pacific Seafood, you and I would not know it was Pacific. They wouldn't announce that. And, unfortunately, these other locations, we don't know who they are. We only can tell, the Oregon Health Authority will only tell us they have less than 5, or actually 4 or less. And the problem, and I really felt bad this morning because I've seen a lot of comments throughout the community, and I talked to a local business person that went to get some services this morning, and that person said, well, you closed your business because you have a COVID patient in your employees, and we will not serve you because we're worried that you might pass on to us. And I was kind of very disappointed in that, because that's, we're trying to judge people we don't know about. And obviously, if you take precautions, you wash your hands, you wear a mask, use physical distancing, you shouldn't be able to get it from these folks. So unfortunately, there's a little hysteria about that. And the other problem too is, if people know what these businesses are, unfortunately they will stop using their services or shopping there. And we all know that, and most of you too, back in March, you got punched, and it really hurt the local businesses at the time. And now that they're just getting started back to work and starting to get some revenue, they've had to close them. So it's just terrible for them. And before I forget, I really want to make sure that, and I know you all are doing, we're all supporting our local businesses as much as we can. Last night, I happened to go to a particular restaurant, I won't name it, and they had dinner, and the because we had for lunch today as well. We really need to make sure that we take a lot of time and effort and thought in how we can right now support everyone here in our community and our local businesses. Did that answer your question?
Yes, so it's 6 businesses above and beyond Pacific Seafood.
That's my understanding.
Okay, thank you.
And then 163 people to date. So that's and I hate to say this, I'm not excited about it, but I believe we are going to have more people impacted because, as you all know, these people that work that were impacted in the fish plants, they weren't from overseas, they weren't from another state, they were people that work here, have lived here for decades, and they are entwined in our community just like the rest of you. Their kids go to our schools, they work in other businesses here in town, they're our neighbors, they're our friends. So the idea that we're not going to have any more victims, to me, is not going to happen. I'm sure we're going to have more, but I think we all need to think about and make sure that we, our families and our businesses, that we make sure that we do the physical distancing, washing our hands, and wear a mask. And I know that the mask is problematic. We have we've had the county had people requested the county to make a countywide ordinance that it's mandatory. And the county can only do that in unincorporated areas. They can't control Newport. Only the Newport Council can. And we've had some people call us and say that they want the Newport Council to make a mandatory law here in town. And I'm supportive of that. The only problem is enforcement. Today we've probably got 20,000 people in town, and we probably have 3 police officers working right now. And so for enforcement, it's just off the chart. But I do believe, though, that we could have Mark Miranda come back, and I'm sure he would do a lot of that.
As a volunteer.
You can't have him. He is doing a job for us now. People need to keep in mind that every fishing boat that used to deliver into the Newport plants, including part of Coos Bay, now have to run up to Westport to deliver. And that adds 9 to 12 hours on their trip, and they're not sleeping at home. So the impact is far beyond just the 124, or even our little Newport plant here.
That is a great point.
Dean, I have a question if you know the answer to it, and that is, are these additional cases, this 160 that you're talking about today, is a consequence of tracers basically tracking down folks that have been in contact?
Yes, that's an excellent point. As these tracers start doing their work, we're going to find more people, because obviously the fish plant people in their daily lives, they go to the bank, they go to the store, they go, up places that you and I go every day, and the potential for that spread is obviously can happen elsewhere. But the contact tracers are very important. Matter of fact, Beatrice Botello, if you know her, she's one of our city councilors. She is one of them. She's volunteered to do that, and she's bilingual, so that really helps too. And matter of fact, I did the KMPT radio show this morning with her, and we talked about that very fact. But Jeff, you're right. As time goes on and they contact more people, they are going to find other people that may be impacted, and then of course those people will obviously be tested as well.
And that, arguably is good news, because that suggests they may be able to get around it and kind of contain it, which is the goal.
Yeah, I have a lot of faith in public health, because when I worked at the tribe, I worked directly with them. I was the tribe representative to the region 2, which is our current region we have here. And their whole process is they have a lot of investigators that work on these issues, and they nail down everything. And the initial interview, by the way, with the COVID, I hate to say the word victim. I have to find another word for that. But with the people that do have that are positive, it's about a 5-hour interview. And what they do is they start off by saying, we need to go back 14 days from today to see who you've been in close contact with and who you had contact with, people without a mask. And it's very detailed. And like I said, it's a 5-hour interview. So it's very complex, and you're correct, Jeff. It is a good thing that's happening.
Hey, Dean, could you talk a little bit about testing? I noticed that when I was going through Depot Bay, there's a long line now in Depot Bay Clinic, and people are getting tested. How's
Yeah.
the testing in Newport going, and what's going on with that?
Yeah, they have 2 test sites that they have. They have one in Depot Bay and one in Walport. And thank you for mentioning that, because I have not kept up with their activity, whether it's big, different, or whatever. And then Samaritan here in town also does the testing. Again, they're very careful because we don't have an overabundance supply of these tests. You can't just go down to Walmart, buy one, take it home, and swab yourself and know right away. So because of that, you still need a doctor's prescription to get that. And you can either get that through your doctor, or they also, Public Health has a plan and Samaritan has a plan. Samaritan Foundation is supplying free tests to those people that can't afford it. And so if you know anybody that thinks they need a test or have symptoms, please have them reach out to Samaritan. I'm sorry I don't have the phone number at my fingertip, but if you want, I can get that to you. But even if you don't have a healthcare provider, you can still, Samaritan has a process where you can go in and then they will evaluate you. And if they feel you need it, they will give you that test.
Maybe Ursula, you could talk about that a little bit, because I know that I know some people that have been had to go take a test because of tracing requirements, and then they had to, as the tracing goes, everybody that gets traced has to go take a test. Is that something the hospital is involved with in that capacity?
I just saw a media release this morning, and I will find it and email it maybe to John, who could send it out to everybody. And it has all the phone numbers that you can contact. If you don't have a local provider, call this number. They can do like a MyChart electronic visit kind of a thing. And it's not the Samaritan Foundation that's paying for the test. It would be Samaritan Health Services that would pay for the tests.
Okay.
I hadn't heard that, but if you're saying that we've said we do it.
Well, I had heard yesterday that Samaritan Foundation was picking that up for those that can't afford it. And thank you for sending that out. I've just gotten tons of people asking me, how can I get information from Lincoln County Public Health? And right now they're all kind of working from home, like a lot of you, because they don't want everybody at the courthouse. And they do have a general number that people can call, and it's 265-0621. Now that will probably go to a voicemail because the person is at home, and then they pick that up regularly and they will return that call. So if anybody has a specific question for public health about anything regarding this, or how to get the test or whatever, that's available through that. The other thing that we have to be careful is we don't want people just getting a test because they think they have a problem. We need to make sure that they do have those symptoms before they can, just because there is a limited supply of those. And of course, the industry is manufacturing more every day. So as time goes by, there will be more tests. And like I said, I believe someday there'll probably be a Walmart test where you can just go get it and do it on your own. Ursula, you might disagree with that they would be available at Walmart, but I mean, at some point there will be more availability to the general population. I hear a lot of people that call me and say, Dean, I sneezed, I have to get a test. And I said, now wait a minute, let's just kind of chill out here and let's go through the systematic list. And of course, the first thing is that they recommend is that you call your doctor's office and talk to them and give them what your symptoms are. And then from there, they will say yes, no, or whatever needs to happen.
And I think credit should,
I just want to follow up again. Since I'm the foundation director, I just want to make it clear that Samaritan Foundation is not paying for tests at this time. So, but I will find out if Samaritan Health Services has a plan for that. I mean, Samaritan Health Services is a nonprofit healthcare provider, so people who can't afford to pay still get services. So that's probably what is the information out there, but it's not the foundation. So.
Okay, great.
Just a quick thing. We, on Sunday, believed that maybe one of our employees had been within distance with one of the positive cases. And it was kind of eye-opening for us as an employer to figure out how many of our employees actually don't have a healthcare provider. They have an established care.
Exactly.
And so it's been then we kind of went through the health, we called the hotline, and that they were really helpful. And there's a ton of information on the website for FAQs. So if you have an immediate question, and I would go there first so that we're not overwhelming them. And then if you don't understand the FAQs, then, you know, go ahead and call them, I guess.
So is that on samhealth.org, Amy? Is that where you went? Sam
No, it's through the
County, it's probably the county public health.
County one. Okay.
Mhm.
If you Google Lincoln County Public Health, you'll go right to their site, and they have just a wealth of information. And on the lower left side, you will see also press releases each day. And I really hit that each day because that's where you have the updated information. And that's the information that I got for you this morning on the 163 update. And Amy, you have a great suggestion that rather than call, check the website first. And that's just a bunch of great information. And I happened to do that a couple of weeks ago. I had some extra paint out in the garage, and I went to Thompson Sanitary Service website, and I got all the information right on there. And I took it up, and they were very there was a gentleman out there, very professional, and I dropped it off, and it was very easy and slick.
Yeah, we're really trying to, well, at least I think all of us are trying to retrain ourselves a little bit to go to those resources and figure out how to help ourselves. Because at first, you know, we were pretty alarmed on Sunday. It ended up that our employee wasn't within risk, and we've put out a lot of information to our employees, but just having them interpret some of the information that we've given them and how the virus spreads is really difficult for a lot of people to understand, and they just panic. So it's got a lot of challenges.
Yeah, I think this whole thing has made us all retraining our brains and how we redo business. Obviously, Zoom is one thing that has been very important, but also my son has a restaurant in Corvallis, and I've been working with him to rearrange and do some modifications. And it's also helped, I think, a lot of the businesses because he has never had takeout or delivery. And when he could only do takeout and delivery, his business went way up and sustained them for a short period of time. So I think that there are positives from all this because I think that a lot of you have retooled your businesses, your business plans, and how you do things. And I think it's going to make things, in some cases, it makes it smoother for you and easier and more profitable, hopefully. And also, I think it's opened up extra avenues for people to explore how to find other revenue sources for you.
Mayor Sawyer, this is Jim Graham. Do you have anything that you can talk about the Oregon State Trace team and Trace program coming to Newport?
Well, I can because I talked to, as I said earlier, Beatrice Boteo is on that team. Lincoln County, just prior to the outbreak, had twice the tracers that they needed at the state level to open to phase one. I think they had like 10 or 12, and I think they only needed like 7. So that was another factor for us to go into phase one, that Lincoln County had tracers involved. Now, due to this outbreak, they've obviously needed more because it's just nobody knew that instead of having 6, now we need 20, 40, whatever it is. But what I like about the state and the Oregon Health Authority is they have a lot of resources, and they partner with our local public health departments. So whenever there's an outbreak, it's kind of like the cavalry is just over the hill and they're coming. Also, the other nice thing is that there are tracers in Lynn County, Benton County that are quite frankly sitting on their thumbs right now because they don't have work to do over there because they don't have cases. So they can take those people and shift them to us. And most of this tracing is done over the phone. So it doesn't matter whether they're in Albany or Portland or wherever. That's really but I heard this morning that the Oregon Health Authority has sent or allocated more tracers for Lincoln County, just because, like I said earlier, the work that they have to do per each individual is huge. You know, as I said earlier, the first interview is 5 hours. So that's, you know, you think about 126 people in 5 hours. each, that's a lot of time and effort. But yes, the state of Oregon is backing them up. Dietmar used to be a volunteer fireman here, and he fully is aware of the mutual aid that the fire departments in the county have. If we have a major fire here in town and we don't have enough firefighters to take care of it, Toledo, Wallport, Depot Bay will come and assist us. And it's just the exact same system with the state of Oregon.
Dean, if it's all going through the phone, why isn't OHA just setting up 500 or 1,000 tracers throughout the state and just having OHA be in charge of tracing? Why are they putting it on individual counties?
Well, the system is designed to where it's run locally first and assisted by the state. There's tracers in every county in our state. Obviously, for opening into phase one, each county had to show the state that they had X amount of trained people. And I guess to your question, it's just kind of the protocol how the state works. It's kind of like how we do here at the city. If let's say we had a disaster here tomorrow, say an earthquake or whatever, the city would exhaust all of its resources first. We would use our police, fire, and all the equipment that we have in stock to take care of it. Once we exhaust that, then we call the county, and then the county would assist us with all their resources. And then when that's exhausted, then we go to the state level, and then the state kicks in whatever resources they have. And then when the state is out of resources, then we call the federal government, which would be FEMA, and then they bring in their resources. So it's just kind of the incident command system that we use nationwide. You start here and then you work your way up rather than top down. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, thank you.
But I can tell you that Lincoln County Public Health and the state public health are working hand in hand on this. And anything that the local agency can't do or doesn't have the resource, the state will augment.
I would think you'll get more cooperation from people if it's not the Portland state people coming down, if it's somebody local who's asking them 5 hours worth of questions versus some outsider. Yes.
Yeah, I guess that's always problematic whenever, of course, how do you know, you don't even really know the local tracers either, on a one-to-one basis. So, I mean, if you know of anybody or if you happen to test positive, these tracers will call you, they will identify themselves, and you will know exactly right away that they are who they are. And it's real important. The other thing too that my friends in public health have told me is it's real important that if any of us get a phone call from Lincoln County Public Health, please answer that call, because you might be one of the people that they have identified that was in contact with one of these COVID patients, and you need to know as soon as possible that you might have been affected, because and of course they will talk to you and give you information. They will ask you if you have symptoms, of course. They will also give you information on self-isolating, and if you have to isolate, that's why it's real important. So if you get a phone call, please answer it right away, because they be important.
Okay, so I'll take one more question for Dean, and then we've got to wrap this up. So, anyone have a burning question? Bob's trying, but you're on mute, Bob. Can you lower left? John, can you help him?
Trying. He's hard to mute. Unmute.
Does anybody know sign language?
I know.
Bob, if you want, you can.
There he is.
Oh, there he goes.
Yeah, just one last question. You said that you had some extra paint in your garage, and you took it where?
To Thompson's. They have a recycling facility there, and actually, I must tell you, Bob, that some of the paint I recycled I had bought from Thompson's years ago, and it's probably the cheapest paint you can find in town.
Don't think it's going to be cheap any longer. Thank you very much.
So Dean, one last question. I've been thinking about the other subject of with the law enforcement in light of all that's happened with George Floyd and all of that. Is there discussion going on within our local law enforcement about any changes or future, or how's that all going?
Okay, I missed the last part of that.
Is there any discussion going on within like the city and the city of Newport law enforcement on any future?
Yes, and I must tell you, and Mark can verify this. This has been an ongoing discussion for many years. As most of you may know, our police department is accredited by CLIA, which is a state federal organization. And actually, Mark is the one that started that here, and so he deserves a lot of credit for that. And to be accredited, you have standards, and you have to meet those, and your policies have to be up to date, and they have to be accurate. And so I'm very confident that a lot of our current practices are very good. That doesn't mean we can't improve, and I think that that will be an ongoing discussion. I've talked to Chief Malloy about that, and it definitely will move forward. As also as a national discussion as well.
I also saw a survey that you guys are doing about if you have experienced racism in our community, and you fill it out either anonymously or put your name down. Is that correct?
Yes.
Where's that at? Is that on the website?
I haven't seen it, but I can check on that for you.
And then the grants that the city put out, I was told you had 180 applications, and then you'll be deciding those by today, June 10th or June 11th. Is that correct?
What was the last there?
And so you had 180 applications for the grants from the city?
Yeah.
The
We
community
just had a meeting
grants?
yesterday. Thank you for bringing that up. I was going to mention that, and I'm sorry I forgot. As you know, we took $1 million out of our urban renewal funds, and we made it available for grants for small businesses here in town. And it was designed to be for folks that have less than employees. Preferences given to those that have not gotten any assistance from the PPP or any other federal funding. One of the things that we wanted to target were those that are hurting really bad and don't have any other resources to get it. We had, I think, 220 applications. Of those, several of them that were not eligible, and we pared it down to 110 that were eligible. Although we're still working with the county on that final number, because one of the things that one of the requirements was that you don't owe the county any taxes, and so we're waiting for their results on those 110. We sent them to them, I think Tuesday. What day is today, by the way? Does anybody know? But anyway. We pared it down to 110 folks, 110 businesses that we felt were eligible. If you take, I think the top number we were going to give out was 10,000, and if you can do the math, and I know Keith has already done it, but everybody can't get 10,000 for that 110 people. I think it's 900,000 is actually what we have in the bank for that. But what we're going to do is we've kind of decided we're going to kind of prorate it just a shade. So those that are more in need will get a little bit more than the rest of them. And it may not be 10,000 that everybody gets. It might be 9,200 or whatever, depending on the final numbers. But we're hoping to finalize all that by Friday. And then we would really like to kick checks out midweek next week. Because that's one thing that we've been trying to do is we want to get this money out as quickly as we can, because we know that these small businesses really need it right now. And one of the other things that I like about the grant is there's no accountability. We give you the money. You don't have to say I spent it on this or this. We just say, here's your check. Have a nice day. Goodbye.
Okay, thank you very much. And so to honor you in presenting to us today, we are going to vaccinate 50 children in your name against polio. So Rotary is still fighting against polio. Almost got it beat, but so thank you. We appreciate it. We appreciate all the communication all the time. So Secretary Jim, you got numbers?
Yes, I'm here. We do. We have 31 members in attendance. That's right at around 56, 57%. We had $65 and $50 and so the big winner is Amy Thompson with $32. And membership incentive is Keith Nelson, and I'm not real sure where that's at right now. So,
$10.
Oh, $10. So Keith Nelson gets $10 membership incentive.
Okay, and Zagel Award.
Yep, this week's winner is Dustin Capri.
Whoa. It's $5?
$5.
$5. Okay. Any
Can I
quick
give my
last?
$10 to Nathan Salvation Army?
Hey, Nathan, you got more money. You might already be off.
I have a quick announcement, Julie.
Okay.
Tonight, if you remember Facebook, Surfrider, Oregon State, and Thompson Sanitary are premiering The Story of Plastic. This is a documentary about the inception all the way to disposal of plastic. Most of the waste leaders in our, in Oregon for sure, totally support this documentary, and it's real eye-opening about plastic and single-use plastic and where it goes, and then afterwards the discussion, and I'm one of the panelists. So you can find it on Thompson Sanitary, our Facebook page, the link to it if you're interested.
Thank you. Any other quick last minute announcements? Hey, hearing none, next week's program, Freddie and Doretta on the real estate market. Please let me know or Doretta know if you plan on attending the banquet, if you're on the board through Zoom or in the Cove Room. With that, I think that's Siri just talked to me. It's kind of scary. With that, I think that we're almost done. So, Freddie, do you have your 4-way test plaque? And would you like to read it?
Yes, I think I have it here. Okay. 4-way test of the things we think, say, and do.
Is it the truth?
Is it the truth?
Is it the truth?
Is it the truth?
Second.
Is it fair to all concerned?
Third.
Will it build goodwill and better friendships?
Fourth.
Will it be
beneficial
to all concerned?
And fifth.
Is
it fun?
Fun.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good rest of your week.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.